as we have been discussing that how the Surya is available in different forms. Means whatever we see is nothing but Surya Bhagavan. And interestingly, the Surya keeps moving on a chariot with 7 horses that we saw in the verse number 11. And of course, which has got infinite rays, pervades all the directions. And interestingly, also he drives away the darkness, being the source of all sort of prosperity and happiness in our life. The most important thing that we discussed also that he happens to be Twashta. I think 11 we have discussed or not? Did we discuss 11? Okay, very good. So he was called Twashta. So Twashta means the one who eliminates suffering. That's why when there is any suffering, we say Graha Pida. So Graha Pida means it's a very nice point to observe. Because we have to know, like as morning I was talking against psychology, now here let me talk against some other thing, okay? So, like we have, some buffer zone, okay? Because this human mind is very smart mind. Always wants to pass the buck to others. So the modern mind is called psychology, okay? So pass the buck to others. But here, we have also some other psychology. What is that? If anything is wrong, no, don't worry, nothing is wrong in you, but your stars are not in good places. You understand? The stars positioning is bad. So because of your graha dosha, that's why all problem. Can you see? So poor stars are being blamed. So that we call as graha pida. Actually this is better. The reason is why? Because pass on the bog to unknown. So when you pass on the bog to unknown, it becomes really easier for you to come out, so that at least you will not have sense of guilt later on. Whereas when you pass on the bug to a known factor, to a known person, to a known situation, whether you like it or not, again you are caught in that sense of guilt circle. Can you see this point? So this is what the psychology has failed in this regard. Whereas here, you pass on the bug, because of the Shani, because of Mangala, because of this, because of that, because you never going to meet them, nor you met, you understand? So you can handle it. However, so we say that because of the Graha Pida, this is the point, now we all have problems. Again, please understand, Graha Pida is nothing, because all your stars that is being presented in your chart, it just represents your prarabdha karma, nothing else. It is just an indicator. So that means finally what we have done in our previous lives, that we have to pay for it. There is no choice. Neither you nor me, nobody can escape. Please understand. I can escape the impact of suffering, please understand. I can manage the impact of suffering, but I cannot avoid suffering completely. So the complete knowledge, the awareness and understanding definitely helps me to reduce the impact of suffering. However, here Surya Bhagavan, this is the point, is the one who eliminates the suffering from the lives of the devotee, the one who prays. How? Already we have seen a lot of logics. Let me not get into again there. And of course, so he is the cause of all lives, and of course the Hiranyagarbha means when he breathes life into everything, so definitely he is the Hiranyagarbha. So while discussing, now let us look at the next verse, verse number 12, so that it becomes easier. Because we have to complete, okay? or else we'll get stuck. Very slowly we are going, which is not good. Let us speed up. Hiranyagarbhasya shiraha tapano ahaskaro ravihi Agnigarbhodite putraha Shankha shishiranasanaha Hiranyagarbhasya shiraha tapano ahaskaro ravihi Agnigarbhodite putraha Shankha shishiranasanaha. Again starts coming. So he is called Hiranyagarbha. So when he says Hiranyagarbha, as you know, already we have discussed many occasions, many times, so not necessary to bring it. So that means that is the, you can use the word, Surya becomes, if you want to use the word Hiranyagarbha, becomes both that material cause and efficient cause. And interestingly says that Shishiraha. Shishiraha means the one who gives comfort. So interestingly, because we need to really look at very carefully that how this Surya gives comfort, because he brings these two things. First of all, after saying that Hiranyagarbha, so Hiranyagarbha means what? As we discussed, that both material cause or efficient cause, but here in the form of, we can say that is completely energy. So full of energy. Now being full of energy, now it has got two aspects. Now it tries to visualize the concept of sun rising. First it is Sisira. So as it starts rising, that morning sun is very comfortable. In fact, that is how everybody says that you are supposed to get exposed to the morning sun. Not only which is physically good, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, all the way Surya is good. That's why spending time with Surya Bhagavan, whenever you have possibility, please sit outside the sun. So that's why not only Sisiraha, next one he says Tapanaha. That's the beautiful point. Tapana means the one who causes tapaiti, the one who causes heat, excessive heat, discomfort. So through the excessive heat, imagine in summer, especially winter you can manage, you will enjoy. Summer sun, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, how you feel. And you happens to be in Chennai, okay? Not Chennai, all over India, and of course other countries also. Summer means summer, don't worry, in Italy also. So painful. You will not feel like looking at afternoon sun. Impossible. So here he says that same sun, when it is rising, gives comfort. Now as starts becoming growing, also it gives discomfort. And of course also he is called Ahaskaraha. So that also we need to understand Ahaskara, because already Ahaskara means the one who causes a day. So the one who makes the day, of course once you make the day, night also. But earlier we had seen called Divakara. So what is the difference between this Divakara, Ahaskara? Some difference will be there, so that we can see. See, when you say Divakara, also day, Ahaskara also day. So here we can say very carefully that a day can be with sunlight, a day can be without sunlight. So that's why sometimes called Prabhakara. Prabhakara also who gives the light, the rays. Now here Ahaskara means that it causes the day maybe without light, cloudy. So that's why here it's called Ahaskara, which is good. We need sometimes that also, no problem. At the same time, it is called as Ravi. So when he says Ravi, Rautiti Ravi, very nicely point comes. That who makes loud noise, who makes loud noise is called Ravi. That's why we say Rava means a sound. In many occasions, this Rava word comes as a sound. So here is being nicely highlighted that when the sun moves, it makes noise, the sound, and that sound is called Om. As the sun keeps moving, so it makes the sound, that sound is called Om. Omiti Hyesa Swaram Neti, as for Chandogya Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is being highlighted Omiti Hyesa Swaraniti. This is the Surya Bhagavan's Swara. The Swara means the voice or the singing tone or the noise is Om. Then you can say, how is it possible? We are not able to hear. We should be able to hear. If the Surya Bhagavan is making all the time, please understand what is, how far the Surya is. That also we have to calculate. So as they say, this is what the data is available. The Surya's light to fall on the earth takes 8 minutes, if I am right, correct? So if it takes 8 minutes, now please tell me, in 1 second, how many miles a light can move? 86,000, okay? I hope some minimum physics, okay? 86,000 miles per second a light can move. The speed of the light. Now, when the sun rises, sunlight to fall here, to reach here, not fall here, to reach here, takes 8 minutes. That means what? 86,000 into 60, because a 60 seconds becomes 1 minute, okay? Don't forget that. Then into 8. So that means 8 into 60 into 86,000 miles. So that is the distance between us and the Surya. So if this is the distance between the earth and Surya, now the noise that is being created there, how can we hear? Number one. And number two, we say also, because we are so noisy, we are not able to hear what is happening next to us. When there is noise inside the mind, I cannot hear what is being talked next to me. How can I hear what is happening such a far distance? So that's why what happens, beautifully says, that we cannot really listen to it properly. And of course, interestingly, according to our teaching tradition, which we'll be seeing also, it will come, in our teaching tradition, we always look at Surya as the teacher. In fact, he is the teacher of Vedas, especially Yajurveda. So being the teacher of Veda, now he keeps teaching. Now when he is teaching, definitely it involves some type of speech. And being this oral tradition, that's why the story goes about Hanuman. Because Hanuman chose Surya to become his guru. And in fact, that's why Hanuman is such a great personality. And Surya, of course, finally accepted, okay, let me not get into. But there was a problem. Surya said, look, I cannot stand, I cannot wait. Will you be able to move along with my speed? Because teaching has to continue. So if you can move along with my speed, then as I am doing it, I will be able to teach you. In fact, Hanuman did it. That's why Surya Bhagavan is the guru for Hanuman. That's why he was a wise person. I mean, he is not wise, still he is alive, I believe. He is a wise person. So he could move in that speed, with the Surya's speed. So that means Surya, while moving from teaching standpoint, he keeps teaching. So that teaching is in the form of Om. We have seen the importance and meaning of the Om also, many places. Okay, fine. Then finally says, look, again he says, not finally, Agnigarbha. So when he says Agnigarbha, so Agnigarbhe yasya saha. If you look at the core of the Surya is nothing fire. Agni, only fire, nothing else. Because the solar system is so hot. In fact, they say the periphery of solar, what we call solar orb, is so cool. So cool, okay, so calm than the center. It is being said that very nicely some places in the Big Bang theory they describe all these things. That look, it is like every moment hydrogen bombs are being bursted. Not nuclear bomb, okay? Hydrogen bomb, remember. In fact, a nuclear bomb is just a triggers, okay? Hydrogen bomb to burst, you need a nuclear bomb. Imagine what sort of energy, what sort of fire, and what sort of really activities must be going on. That's why to figure it out, this concept, try to look at this Aruna, this golden color or honeybee color, honey color, not honey, honeycomb color, Surya, which will come later on. When you look at this solar orb of sun, let us say solar orb, the periphery, you will discover there is a lot of activities physically. Remember, this is Adi Bhautik aspect, not Adi Daivik aspect. And we are talking about Adi Daivik aspect, the deity part. We are not talking physical aspect. But still, if you look at the physical aspect itself, you can see the difference, you can feel for it. So that's why here is being said very carefully that definitely this is Surya. It is so powerful and full of fire. Okay? Then he says that Aditehe putraha. So we have a concept, Diti and Aditi. So Diti means one lady we call, because we have some figurative expression. We have seen what is Aditi already in Shastra, in teaching standpoint, but in Purana we have this way of saying it for common people to understand. Diti, son of Diti called Dvaitas. Not only duality, correct, you can say duality, it came out wrongly, but okay, it's also accepted. Diti's son's standpoint of knowledge, Diti stand for Dvaita, maybe Aditi's son becomes Advaita, we can look at this way, but here is, we say, that Aditi's son called Devatas, the son of Aditi becomes all the god. Son of Diti becomes that all sort of called Daitas, Daitya. From Diti comes Daitya, Daitya means demons. So interestingly, if you see that Dvaita, if you look at this way, Diti, from Diti to Dvaita, there is a plurality. And wherever there is a plurality, definitely there is ignorance. And ignorance cannot stand either long. So here the son of Aditi, that's why the unity, the oneness is there with the son. So being the son of Aditi, okay, fine, that's great. Then also very nicely comes that Shankha. The word Shankha, popularly known as called conch, but it has got different meaning altogether. But let us look at this popular meaning called Shankha. Actually, blowing conch is very auspicious. In puja, we keep conch and keep the water. That water is being sprinkle on other people. And in fact, we use that conch to do the abhishekam. Because conch has got its big meaning behind it. But if you look at the meaning behind it, we can go a little bit here differently. Shankha means sam cha kham cha iti Shankha. That which is sam also is kham. So now question may comes, what do you mean this sham, kham, all these things you are talking it? Please understand. Sham means happiness. Also, kham means space. The space that gives you happiness. In fact, sometimes also is being highlighted, kham also as a Brahman, the space as Brahman. So here is being taught very nicely that here being Shankha, that which is the cause of happiness, also in space. So that means very clear, all the source of happiness directly or indirectly again comes from Surya. That's why we say, when you do the Surya Puja, you will discover your energy will be higher. In fact, we do say very carefully and clearly, if anybody wants to have name and fame, see, name and fame is nothing but your energy is high, nothing else. So you can influence other people. Unless your energy is high, can you influence other people? If you try to talk, unless your chat is different, okay? If you talk, when we had one person, okay? It doesn't work, okay? Because that is prarabdha, what can you do? However, so here, when you really want to see this point, that Shankha, something takes care. That's why we use the Shankha, conch, for many purposes. In fact, it's very auspicious. Whether blowing conch or using the conch water. However, then he says, Shishira Nayasana. Shishira, even though it's one of the, what you call, season's name, but let us look at cold, dullness, laziness. The one who destroys, Nayasana, the one who destroys the dullness, the laziness. Of course, the dullness of the body and laziness of the mind. So that means how it will be possible? Only by teaching, by the knowledge. See, remember, this dullness or laziness cannot be removed by a person by any means, except by knowledge. So again, Surya takes care of that. Okay, that's good. Now let's look at what is the next. Verse number 13, let us read. Vyomanatastamo bhedi rugyajusamaparagah ghana vrishthirapam vidrah vidhyavlitti plavangamah. Vyomanatastamo bhedi rugyajusamaparagah ghana vrishthirapam vidrah vidhyavlitti plavangamah. Comes again teaching part. Say, look, Vyomanatha. So he happens to be Vyomanatha, the Lord of Vyoma, the skies. So that means different interstellar space. So that means he becomes the Lord of that. And of course, not only that, we can say also, because being Hiranyagarbha, we can bring this way, that he is the creator, propaginator of the space too. Because space has to be created along with the Hiranyagarbha, there is no doubt in it. The galaxies or whatever, all these things have to be created from Hiranyagarbha, there is no doubt in it. So let us not get into too much, because there is also, it comes, Tasmat ba etasmat akasa sambhutah. This Taittiriya Upanishad comes. Tasmat ba etasmat akasa sambhutah. Akasat vayu, vayor agni, agnirapah, abhyah prithvi. All the 5 elements comes. Tasmat ba etasmat akasa sambhutah. Akasa means space. So space must have come from the Hiranyagarbha. So that's why it's being highlighted here, that he is the creator of the space. Nicely, okay. Tamo Vedi. So when you say Tamo Vedi, again Vedi means the one who destroys, one who pierces, one who attacks, one who targets. And what is that? Tama. So Tama means Tamaguna, okay? Remember this point. So that means the laziness with reference to physical body and of course the dullness of the mind. Both the problems is being removed by Surya. That's why whenever your body is lazy, go and sit in front of the sun for some time. You'll see the difference. Whenever your mind is lazy, go and sit in front of the sun for some time. You'll see the difference in you. So that's why, okay, fine. Now it comes very nicely. This is Ruk Yaju Sama Paragaha. This is called Vedic teaching tradition. Starts coming. As you know, we have already discussed this point also. So if you say that Ruk Yaju Sama Paragaha, that means very clear that the one who is great scholar, Paragaha, great scholar of Ruk Veda, Yajur Veda and Sama Veda. How he is scholar? That is what we need to look at. Because in our teaching tradition, we look at very clearly that Surya as a first teacher. Already we have seen in Bhagavad Gita. We have already seen 2 days back in 4th chapter, 1st verse, it talks that point. And of course, if Sun becomes or Surya becomes the first teacher, he also happens to be the first best disciple of Ishvara. Because unless you are a best disciple, you cannot be a best teacher either. Because unless you receive properly, how can you give back? How can you give? Yes, you can say, look, Swamiji, I don't receive, but I only give, okay? That is how the problem happens, okay? You are not ready to listen, you are not ready to receive, listen or receive, but you want to give. Then finally what will happen? You will blabber, okay? However, very nicely says, and interestingly, if we try to understand this point, we can look at being the first teacher. Surya can be considered as both a Jnani and Karma Yogi. This both aspect can be taken as an example. How? Let us look at what is Karma Yogi. A Karma Yogi is that person who does the karma without associating oneself with the result of action. We say Ajnani is karma sangina. Morning class, those who are attending. Ajnani karma sangina. Because many of you are not in the morning class, okay? So all are graduate, you are here now. So that's why, okay? So those who are associating themselves with the result of action, here karma means karma phalam, always attached to the karma phalam while doing karma, they are called Ajnani. They are ordinary people, they are common people. That's why always we are attached. This is a common tendency. Before I speak something, what will happen? Is it happening or not? Before doing, always I am connected not to the action, but connected to the result of action. And the more I am connected to the result of action, the more I have uncertainty in my life. Because the uncertainty is not because of anything. The helplessness is in me is not because of anything. Because of the strong association with the result of action. That's why it's being said very nicely. That in one Hindi saying is there, Naikaram kuye mein dal, something is there, okay? Like after doing it, dump into the well. Means after doing, you forget it. Means don't associate yourself with the result of action. So this point is being seen with Surya. Surya Bhagavan constantly working. As it is constantly working, but it is never associated with the result of action. and also never discriminates to give the rays to people or not to people. It gives everywhere as it's supposed to be given. And least bother whether there is a cloud or whether there is no cloud, whether it's being covered or not covered, but it keeps giving its rays. It's both light and warmth. So that means we can look at Surya Bhagavan as a karma yogi, perfect karma yogi. That is how the karma yoga is. Keeps doing without associating oneself with the result of action, whether people are benefited or not. No, just doing it. And at the same time becomes Jnani. So Jnani means the Surya doesn't have any ahankar. There is no I notion. There is no karta bhava or doership in Surya. Hey look, I am the cause of this day. Hey look, I am doing everything. And if it is that, then definitely Surya will get tired and exhausted. Remember one point in life. The more I have sense of doership in me, the more I get tired, or quicker I get tired and exhausted in my day-to-day life. The tiresomeness, the exhaustion that happens with reference to me is not because of the physical work. It is because of my ego. The more I have the sense of doership with reference to anything, the more I get tired and exhausted in my life. Have you not observed this point? Sometimes in a day you have not done anything, but your ego is being challenged left, right, back, front, top, bottom, all the way. Then what happens? You understand? Whereas there are days your egos are being taken care and you work like anything. What energy you get? Especially I watch people when parents, okay, their children's marriage time. Where from they get the energy, in India in case I'm talking about it, where from they get energy, I don't understand. Because their ego is not challenged there at home. You understand, my son, my daughter is getting married, meet these people, meet do. But during marriage is being challenged, what hell you go through, okay? Just example sake I'm trying to say, okay? So here, Surya being both Karma Yogi and Jnani, we can look at this point. That's why one name of Surya is called Samadarshi. So Samadarshi means the one who sees everybody equally. Surya never differentiate with anything, with anybody, okay? Now, looking at that, then he says that Ghana Brishti. So, Ghana Brishti means from whom or because of whom or who causes the billions of water or the rain, heavy rain, who causes the heavy rain, let us say. In fact, Surya is the cause of it. Because Surya evaporates the water from different sources, whether it is from human body or animal or plant kingdom, or from different water bodies, whether it is ocean or lake or river or whatever, makes no difference. Because of the evaporation power, now there is a cloud and rain starts. That's why Surya is the cause of rain. That's why Ghana Brishti. So okay, fine. After Ghana Brishti comes beautifully, Opam Mitraha. It becomes the friend of water. You can say, how is it possible? In fact, it dries the water. How can you say it is a friend of water? Don't you think it is contradicting? In fact, it dries away the water. Just now you said Ghana Brishti. It evaporates water. In fact, if you keep some water outside, first thing is, the water will be attracted by Surya. After 1 hour, you discover that few layers of water is gone down. But remember, why it is called friends of water? Definitely, Surya evaporates because of its heat. But we also need to see that when it evaporates, after evaporating it filters. Again when the rain comes, when water comes, that is pure water, fresh water comes. So the water that is being spread in different places, different ways, contaminated, all the water is being evaporated and that is being taken care and gives the fresh water. That's why all the water body looks for Surya. That's why they beautifully say that all the water body, they are very happy with reference to Surya. That's why we have this practice of offering water to the Surya Bhagavan in the water body. How? Let us look at the next verse, because we have to go a little bit more. Atapi mandali mrityu pingalas sarvatapanah kavir vishwo mahateja rakta sarvodbhavadbhavah. Atapi mandali mrityu pingalas sarvatapanah kavir vishwo mahateja rakta sarvodbhavadbhavah. Again, is another aspect. Surya is called as Atapi. So Atapi means, here it says beautifully that the one who creates heat, who causes heat, especially in summer, okay? You do not know, so sultry, full of humidity and whatnot. In fact, that is called, called Surya. Then, of course, Mandali. So, Mandali means that Mandala means a orb of light or energy. That's why we have, a circle. A mandala means actually called circle, okay? We have different mandalas, we say. So here mandali means that circle or orb of energy, solar orb, okay? And remember, that is what we need to understand. The solar orb that we see is called Adi Bhautika. Adi Bhautika means related to elements. Whereas here we are talking Adi Daivika. So the God is the Sun God is the presiding deity of the solar orb that you see. It is not the solar orb directly. That's why when we do the Sandhya Vandanam, that concept comes there, okay? That presiding deity of. So that is the concept of Sandhya Vandanam. However, let him not get into too much into that other aspect. And also interestingly, Surya is called as Mrityuhu. So when it says Mrityuhu, already we have seen it earlier. Still it brings Lord of Death. Surya is the cause of death. In fact, the day Surya is come, so one day is less for you, okay? And of course, when Surya sets also, a lot of energy goes away from you. Not only it gives energy, also it takes away energy, don't worry, okay? Both way it happens. It depends upon how you use. In fact, Surya actually reminds you how old you are, okay? This like, I always say this point. When somebody celebrates birthday, this is what I say, hey look, this is not a birthday, it is a reminder day, okay? How quicker you are, how closer you are, you understand? Suppose if you say 80-year-old, wow, not you have lived 80 years, okay? Don't calculate that way. People take pride, wow, I'm 80-year-old, 90-year-old, hey stupid, don't look at that. It's a reminder. Now that means what? How close you are, you understand? At least be aware of that while enjoying your birthday. So here says beautifully, so being this, then of course this Lord of Death, Surya is also called as Pingalaha. So Pingalaha means Pingala means that is called, the color, like brass color or honey comb color, okay, honey color you can say. And when it is during morning time. Of course, for some time, not long time, it's very less time, but that is called Pingalaha. Then Sarvatapanaha. So Sarvatapana means Sarva, the one who heats up and burns everything. Especially in summer, okay? It not only, it heats everything and everything. If you touch the wall, oh, so hot. Especially I remember, I cannot forget that, just I am trying to share with you. I am talking long back. Yeah, definitely it will be more than 35 years must be. First time when I came to Delhi, to be very honest, that time Orissa was not that sort of heat. And in summer, I came to Delhi. That was my first time, okay? I didn't understand anything here or tail out of it. And those days very rarely you find, when all over the India there was nothing, but that time in Delhi they started air cooler, okay? Air cooler means you cannot think of handmade, okay? It will throw the water in such a way you cannot think of. The wall was hot. So when you touch the wall, oh, so hot. Okay, now I understand. I have seen everywhere now, that's a different thing altogether. I was shocked in my life for the first time. How can the wall be hot? And that too inside, you understand? Now I understand in winter, how can the wall, inside the wall can be cold? If in winter wall can be cold, so in summer why cannot it be hot, okay? I understand now, okay? But that was my first impression about heat, okay? That's why that memory comes very badly. And people will pour water, this much water, this thick water on the floor, and it will dry, evaporate. That heat. So that is what is being highlighted here as Sarvatapanaha, nothing else, okay? Don't get into too much. At the same time, it is called Kavihi. So Kavihi means Kranta Drashinaha. One meaning of Kavi called Kranta Darshinaha. The one who has vision. In fact, a wise person is called as Kavi. Not, we look at Kavi means the one who is a poet. The literal translation of Kavi is called poet. Means the one who sees it differently. But we look at Kranta Darshina, the one who has vision. In fact, we have in Rudram, Anantam Abhyam Kavigam. So there also it comes Kavim. So that means what? The one who is Anantam, the one who is Abhyam, means the one who is limitless, at the same time the one who is Berahita, free from all limitations, all parts, called time, space and object. These are the parts. That is called Kavim. So in short, is omniscient the Ishwaraha. Okay, then comes Kavim Vishwaha. Vishwa you might have heard when we start Vishnu Sahasranamam. The first name is what? Om Vishwam Vasarkaro. You understand? So that which is available in all forms, names and forms. So that means if we see very clearly, the Ishwaraha is manifested in the form of Surya. That's why we say Vishwam Evedam Purusham Iti. The universe indeed is in the form of cosmic person. That's why when this is being said, then comes what? Rakta Sarvodbhavaha. So Rakta means red in color sometimes, especially setting sun, red in color. And of course Sarva Bhavodbhavaha, the source of all creation. So whatever we see, that is nothing but Surya Bhagavan. So what a beautiful way of looking at Surya. So that means each aspect that you look at in front of your eyes is nothing but Surya. Of course, more of it, 45 minutes almost now. More of it we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes.